This module we will talk about a best practices model of change. As we talked in the last few modules, that there could be different approaches and different perspectives about change. So, particularly the best practices versus analytical models of change need a very due attention. So, best practice models, what are their assumptions and what they suggest us? Although it's a big area, and we say that there are thousands of papers and articles have been published about those best practices, and there is an avid following, the people who believe in something, and there is a large amount of publications in the area. So we say that there is a great following of best practice models. So each commentator in those best practice models has their own preferred approach to managing change. So each advocate certain number of steps. When we say best practice models, so they suggest that at the step one, this is one, this is what an organization should do, or the HR professionals or the top management should do. At a step two, this is what should be done, and a step three, what should be done, and change will occur and change will happen. Well, best practice model has a avid following, and people believe that this approach is also adequate. But in for which organizations and in which context, there might be another perspective on these things. So the best practice approaches have attracted the avid following, but criticism and the proponents of analytical approaches have not let them go without the criticism. So they sidesteps the complex reality of organizational life. This is one of the major criticism on best practices approaches. That organizational life, particularly where there are humans and they are different in every organization, in numbers, in their beliefs, and in their assumptions. So how one can suggest that there is a best practice or there are best practices of change, and if an organization follow those best practices, the change will occur, or organization can change from one stable state to another state. So there is a criticism that you are ignoring something, you are not putting attention to some other details, or without knowing those details, which cannot be same in every organization. So without going into those details that differentiate organizations from one organization to another organization, you are suggesting that there are some practices. So let's see that what they suggest and what are those models. While on the other hand, as I said, that contingency based perspective suggests that one formula cannot be universally applied since all contexts are different. So when we talk about the context, we are saying that the size of the organization, the type of the products an organization offer, the location of the organization, its people beliefs and people assumptions within the organization. So these are the contextual factors. The financial position of the organization, the stability and the culture of the organization. So these things are named as the contextual factors, where every organization vary from each other. So, according to this view, the focus should be on aligning the change management program with the organization context. So, you have to align that, okay, this is how we will adapt or how we will make change in the organization. An incremental change may be more suitable to your organization rather than transformational, or a transformational approach may be more suitable to your organization rather than the incremental. So you might have to change only the one part of the organization rather than the whole organization. So these are the contextual factors that need to be considered. This is what analytical models suggest. So the likelihood of developing a generic model capable of making change in an organization couldn't be more than a magic, a charisma, or a miracle that rarely happens. That after combining several practices, the best practices and the contextual factors, and you come up with a model and you suggest organizations that this is the model, you take it as a recipe. This is the bulletproof, or this is the recipe for change. and you implement that, and you take it with you, whatsoever is your organization, you go back to the organization, you do that, and there will be a change that could not be more than a magic. Thank you.